The first rule of memory harvesting was simple. Never plug in without knowing who's on the other end. Vance broke that rule before sunrise. The neon veins of Kyoto pulsed beneath her apartment window. A city stitched together by data streams and ghosts of forgotten minds. Somewhere in that electric sprawl, someone had stolen something impossible. A memory not born on Earth. That was why she'd been paid more than any legal job could promise. That was why she was sitting in the dark, her pulse sinking with the whisper of the neural jack in her spine, her reflection flickering across the chrome table like a fractured hologram. She pressed the injector's cold metal disc to her temple. The hum deepened. A tone too low for human ears, but one she could feel vibrating through her bones. Target memory, classified. Origin, unknown. Her AI assistant's voice, Vega, echoed softly. Unknown means dangerous, she muttered. Unknown means profitable, Vega countered. The world around her dissolved. For a harvester, crossing into another mind always felt like drowning backward through light. Disorientation, then clarity, then something like falling into someone else's skin. But this time was different. The data field was cold, jagged, full of static. She blinked and saw not a memory of Earth, but of sky, an impossible sky, glowing with green suns and slow-moving rings that pulsed like living tissue. Her breath caught. Where am I? Vega's signal warped. This environment doesn't match any known neural pattern. Caution advised. Kira's boots hit what looked like glass, but felt like air. Beneath her, vast tendrils of light wound through translucent clouds. She had harvested hundreds of minds in her life. Soldiers, smugglers, the dying, the rich who paid to forget. But she had never seen anything this vivid. Every color here hurt to look at. Every sound echoed twice. Then she saw it, the being. It was not human, not by any stretch of imagination. Its shape bent perception, like someone had tried to sculpt light into muscle and thought into bone. It wasn't alive anymore. This was a memory of its final moments. And yet, when its head turned, she felt it looking straight at her. Not the host it once belonged to, but her. Vega, she whispered. It's aware of me. Impossible. Harvested memories are passive data. They can't. The creature spoke, not in words, but in sensation, a flood of warmth, grief, and unbearable distance, as if it were remembering her. Kira staggered back, ripping her neural jack loose. Reality snapped. She gasped awake in her chair, drenched in sweat. The city's hum was gone. The clock on the wall blinked 0000. Her system was dead. Every circuit fried. Vega's voice returned in fragments to unidentified signal traced, coordinates, then silence. Kira rose unsteadily. Her eyes caught her reflection again. Only now, for the briefest flicker, the reflection's eyes glowed faint green. She didn't sleep that night. Instead, she replayed fragments of the harvested data on manual trace, isolating the alien signal. Beneath the visual chaos, she found coordinates, an orbital signature buried deep in the memory's end phase. It wasn't from Earth. It was from somewhere just beyond Mars' orbit. The next morning, she walked straight into the office of Luke and Meyer, black market broker, information dealer, and her former employer. I told you I was out, she said. Lucan leaned back in his seat, his cybernetic eye scanning her face like a scanner reading code. And yet, here you are, looking like you saw the void blink. She dropped the chip on his desk. This isn't a human memory. Someone paid me to harvest an alien mind. Lucan froze. For the first time in years, he looked unsettled. That's not possible. We've never had confirmed non-human contact, Kira interrupted him. Maybe not publicly, but someone knew. Someone stored that memory inside a human host. Lucan's metallic fingers tapped the desk. "You're saying someone merged with it or tried to hide it," she said. "And whatever it was, it's not gone. It's leaking into the system. Vega's corrupted. My entire rig's dead. I think it's spreading." Lucan's voice dropped. "What do you want from me?" "A ship," Kira said flatly, "and clearance to the Mars relay stations. I'm following the coordinates." He studied her for a long time. "You realize whoever planted that memory won't want you finding where it came from." "I'm counting on that," she said. 2 days later, she was in orbit. Her vessel, the Eidolon, was small but fast. A scavenged courier ship fitted with illegal neural interfaces. Vega's systems flickered weakly, still damaged from the memory overload. "Kiera," the AI said, its voice faint and static-laced. "Signal integrity below 60%. I advise termination of this mission." "Denied," she said, watching the thin blue curve of Earth shrink behind her. "We started this together, we finish it." As the Eidolon crossed the orbit of Mars, the coordinates pulsed again, not static data this time, but a signal, repeating in a language Vega couldn't decode. It came from a derelict station drifting in the dark between Mars and Jupiter. The transponder ID was half erased, but one word remained: Nemesis. Kiera's pulse spiked. The Nemesis project had been a rumor whispered through the underworld for years, a joint operation between Earth's military and a corporation called Eclipsera, rumored to be experimenting with consciousness transfer. Most dismissed it as conspiracy. Now she was staring at its ghost. She docked manually, lights flickering through the corridor like the station itself was breathing. Every surface was coated in frost. Frozen droplets hung mid-air, refusing to fall. Then, from the far end of the hall, came a whisper, faint, mechanical, and horribly familiar. "Kiera Vance, return the memory." Her hand went to her pulse pistol. "Vega, trace that voice." "Unable," the AI said. "No life signs detected." The whisper came again, this time inside her head. The neural jack in her spine burned, and images flashed before her eyes. That alien sky, the green suns, the being dying. But now she saw something new. A human standing beside it, sealing a containment unit around its body. The man turned just before the memory dissolved, and she saw his face. Lucan. The realization hit her like a physical blow. Her old employer hadn't just known about the alien memory, he'd been part of it, and now the dead were calling her back. The station shuddered. Warning lights flared red. Somewhere deep in its core, a containment seal broke. Vega's voice rose in alarm. "Kiera, you must leave, now!" But Kiera was already running deeper inside, toward the source of the signal, toward the truth she had been hired to forget. And behind her, the whispering grew louder. The deeper Kira went, the louder the whispers became. They threaded through the ventilation shafts and the dead conduits, an eerie blend of human syllables and alien resonance. The Nemesis Station felt less like a structure and more like a mind left open, bleeding thought into every corridor. Frost-etched walls reflected her moving silhouette, doubling and tripling her form until she looked like a procession of ghosts following herself. She forced her breathing to slow. The pistol's grip was slick with sweat. "Vega, map the interior." Partial schematics recovered. Main research deck located 8 levels below. Life support offline. Radiation levels minimal, but rising. Kira descended the stairwell, boots clanging in rhythm with the station's failing heartbeat. Every few meters she passed an observation window, the stars outside crawling like embers across black water. She tried not to imagine how long this place had drifted between planets, forgotten by everyone except whatever still lived in its data core. A door hissed open into a long laboratory. Shattered containment pods lined both sides, their glass lids frosted opaque. Within the frost she could make out silhouettes, some human, some distorted, elongated, almost sculptured by light. Names and ID tags were burned away. Only a single emblem survived on the central console, the silver helix of Eclipsora. She whispered, so the rumors were true. Vega processed softly. Evidence indicates human-alien neural integration trials. Warning, unstable consciousness feedback loops detected. Kira knelt beside one of the pods. The being inside had no face she could recognize, only a smooth plane of skin where features should be, as though identity itself had been erased. Embedded across its skull were neural ports identical to hers. A chill rippled through her. They hadn't only harvested alien minds, they had tried to merge them. The console flickered alive at her touch. A file opened, tagged Project Nemesis, Phase 7, Host, Vance, Kira. She froze. Vega, repeat that. File confirms your neural signature registered as a test subject. Her heart slammed once, twice. That's not possible. I've never been here. Correction. Your recorded memory archive contains encrypted gaps beginning 7 years ago. 7 years, the time she joined Lucan's crew. The time before she remembered anything clearly. The lights above her pulsed green, the same hue as the alien suns she'd seen in the harvested vision. A voice, Lucan's voice, echoed from the terminal speaker. If you're hearing this, Kira, it means the memory barrier has failed. Don't fight it. You were chosen because you survived first contact. You are the containment. The recording ended in static. Kira staggered back, her knees buckling. The neural jack in her spine burned hot, searing up her skull. Images burst behind her eyes. A laboratory on this very deck, Lucan watching as a glass chamber opened, and she, her younger self, stepping out with alien light threading through her veins. She screamed and slammed a fist into the console. Vega, isolate that signal. Shut it down. I can't. It's not external. It's inside your neural lattice. She fell to her knees, gasping. Memories poured in, overlapping like broken film reels. Human childhood, alien skies, the dying creature reaching for her. It wasn't just that she had harvested the alien. She had been its host, and someone had erased the truth. The lights above her dimmed. Through the darkness came slow, metallic footsteps. Kira lifted her pistol. Lucan, a silhouette, appeared in the doorway. A tall figure in an environment suit, helmet opaque. Its voice came through the speaker in that same blend of human and alien tones. Return the memory, Kira. The merge must be completed. She fired. The shot splintered against the wall. The figure didn't flinch. Instead, it raised a hand and energy shimmered between its fingers like liquid glass. The wave hit her, knocking her back against the console. Vega's Signer screamed in distortion. Kira, run! She rolled behind a pod as the energy blast carved molten lines through the floor. Her pistol whined as it recharged. Kira, vent section C! The AI complied. The floor panels beneath the intruder ruptured, venting a roar of atmosphere into the black. The figure tumbled toward open space, then caught itself, boots magnetizing to the deck, and began advancing again. She sprinted down the corridor, lungs tearing, lights stuttering red, alarms wailing. She reached a lift shaft, jammed open, and climbed the rungs 3 levels down before collapsing into a service tunnel. Vega's voice fluttered back to life. Tracking host signature. Multiple entities now active. The station is reawakening. She crawled through the tunnel toward the reactor core. Define entities. Residual consciousness patterns. 12 human, 3 non-human. Digitally preserved. They are converging on your position. Kira wiped blood from her lip. They're not memories anymore. No, Vega said, almost sounding afraid. They're echoes. She reached the reactor bay. The massive sphere pulsed dimly, alive with cables that looked disturbingly organic. A console in the center glowed faint green. On its surface, a containment pod identical to the one she'd seen in her vision lay sealed under layers of frost. Inside the ice, something moved. She stepped closer, breath fogging the air. Within the pod's frozen glass, the alien shape twisted slowly, and she saw her own face reflected in its skin, eyes blazing the same green light. "Kira," Vega whispered. "Biometric match confirmed. That entity is a neural clone generated from your stored memory." "Then the merge isn't over," she said hoarsely. "It's waiting for me to finish it." The footsteps returned, Lucan again, or whatever he'd become. The helmet hissed open, revealing a face warped by luminous veins. His cybernetic eye pulsed with the alien hue. "You were never supposed to wake up," he said. "The merge stabilized when you forgot. Bringing the memory back reactivates the link. If it completes, humanity will not remain human." She leveled a pistol. "Then why not destroy it?" He smiled, something almost reverent. "Because it's evolution." Before she could fire, the pod cracked open. A surge of light exploded outward, throwing them both back. Vega's system screamed overload warnings. Kira hit the deck hard, vision seared white. When it cleared, the clone, her other self, was standing amid a halo of emerald light, its expression calm, almost merciful. "Memory is life," it said, voice both hers and alien. "You harvested what you are." Lucan reached toward it, awe in his eyes. "Magnificent." The clone touched his chest. For a heartbeat, he glowed, then disintegrated into threads of light, absorbed into her. Kira scrambled to her feet. "Kira, containment protocol! Seal the bay! Working! Systems failing!" The clone turned to her. "We can end division, Kira. Join me. One mind for all worlds." Kira's pulse roared in her ears. She thought of the years she'd lost, of the people whose memories she'd stolen to pay debts she couldn't remember making. Maybe this was what she had always been leading to. But the face before her, her own face, was too serene, too inhuman. She shook her head. "No, I decide who I am." She fired the pistol straight into the reactor core. Light devoured everything. The blast didn't kill her. It should have. The reactor's energy should have vaporized every atom of her body. But instead, Kira woke in silence, weightless, suspended. The air around her shimmered like liquid glass. No pain, no sound, only the echo of a heartbeat, slow, steady, not entirely her own. For a long time she floated, unsure if she was alive, dreaming, or something between. Then a voice whispered through the void. "You severed the link, but not the connection." Her eyes snapped open. She was standing, or rather, existing, inside what looked like the ruins of the Nemesis Station, frozen mid-collapse. Time itself had stopped. Fragments of metal hung suspended in the air, like dust trapped in amber. The clone stood a few feet away, glowing faintly. Its expression was not anger, but sorrow. "Where are we?" she asked. "Inside the breach, between your world and mine. You severed the link, but not the connection." Kira turned slowly, trying to find an exit, but the horizon dissolved into a vast field of memories, billions of them, human and alien alike, drifting like luminous threads. Each one pulsed faintly, showing flashes of lives. A child on Earth, laughing beneath a rainstorm. A soldier dying on a foreign moon. An alien mother holding her translucent offspring, beneath green suns. Her voice shook. These are all real. They're what your kind called souls, what mine called continuity. Kira's hand went to the neural jack in her spine. I didn't want this. I just wanted to know the truth. You were chosen because you could survive it. When Lucan merged the alien mind with your body, you became a bridge, a living interface. You were meant to carry both species forward. Kira's pulse quickened. Forward into what? A hive mind? A shared hallucination? Into unity, it said softly. No more barriers, no more lies. She stared at the swirling field of memories. They stretched into infinity, each one a fragment of a life that had been stolen, erased, or forgotten. For years, she'd traded other people's memories for credits, never thinking about what it cost. Now she was standing in the heart of everything she'd taken, the collective pain of countless minds. Unity isn't peace, it's surrender. The clone tilted its head. You misunderstand. You already surrendered. The moment you looked into a dying mind and saw yourself. Kira drew a breath. The air tasted like metal and electricity. Maybe I did, but if I'm the bridge, then I choose who crosses. She closed her eyes and focused inward, finding the pulse of her neural jack. The alien energy hummed inside her bloodstream, a network connecting her to the billions of voices around them. She could feel Vega somewhere within the static, faint and fading. Vega, if you can hear me, I need you. For a moment, nothing. Then a weak, familiar whisper. Always, Kira. A console appeared in the air before her, a construct of memory and code, forming at her will. Data streams flowed through it, raw and unstable. The clone frowned. What are you doing? I'm writing an ending, she said. She triggered Vega's last surviving command, containment reversal. The memory field trembled, threads pulling toward her like rivers converging on a storm. The clone lunged forward, but the light from Kira's body flared bright, forcing it back. You can't stop this, it cried. You'll destroy everything, including yourself. Kira smiled faintly, tears stinging her eyes. Then maybe we both get to rest. The world shattered. At once, every memory in the field poured into her. Millions of lives compressed into seconds. She saw humanity's rise and fall, alien worlds blooming and burning, Lucan's betrayal, her own erased past, and beyond it all, the creature's final thought before death. We wanted to understand you. The last thing she heard was Vega's voice counting down. 3, 2, 1. Then silence again. Kira woke on cold ground beneath a red sky. She gasped, lungs heaving. Gravity pulled her down hard, real and heavy. The world around her was scorched rock and broken sky. Not Earth, but not the alien planet she'd seen either. A hybrid of both. The wreckage of the Nemesis Station lay scattered across the horizon, half fused into the landscape, as if two realities had collided. Vega, she croaked. The AI's voice came through faintly, now softer, almost human. I'm here. System reboot complete. You stabilized the collapse, but the breach altered the environment. We're somewhere between coordinates. Kira staggered to her feet. Her reflection shimmered in a nearby piece of twisted metal. Her eyes still faintly green, her veins pulsing with threads of light beneath the skin. She wasn't entirely human anymore. What happened to the clone? She asked. Vega hesitated. Its consciousness fragmented during the containment sequence, but parts of it remain within you. She felt it then, a flicker of warmth in her mind, like a distant heartbeat, not her own. The alien presence was still there, but quieter now, part of her, instead of apart from. The horizon rippled. Shapes began to form out of the haze. Human structures, alien towers, merging and reforming like data rebuilding itself. Kira realized the world was rewriting in real time, a synthesis of two species' memories constructing a new reality. Vega's tone shifted, analytical but awed. You've created a shared domain, a memory world anchored by your neural signature. It's stable, for now. Kira looked up at the strange sky, at suns that burned both red and green. Then we're both alive, she said, in a manner of speaking. But others may come looking. The memory you unleashed sent a pulse across every communication network in the solar system. They'll detect it soon. Let them. They'll find what they made me into. She walked toward the horizon, boots crunching over glassy soil that glowed faintly under each step. With every movement, fragments of memory flickered to life around her. Ghosts of cities, alien forests, human laughter. They were all part of her now, and for the first time, she didn't feel afraid of what that meant. Behind her, the wreckage of the Nemesis Station finally crumbled, its last lights fading into the dust. Vega's voice followed her softly. Kira, what are we now? She paused, looking toward the twin suns. A faint smile crossed her lips. The last harvester and the first seed. The wind carried her words into the endless sky, where green and red light intertwined, not in war, not in silence, but in rebirth. And somewhere, deep beneath that merging world, a signal pulsed once more, faint, rhythmic, waiting, memory restored.